Hey everyone, let's do a quick review video on your conversions. You can find step-by-step notes on my Canvas page, and I would encourage you to follow those as we go through these problems. But let's just give a quick video example of how to do the conversion. So your problem says, Charlie runs 3 yards in 1 second. How many miles per hour would this be? So the first thing you need to think of is you think of the first ratio that's given in the problem and you write it down. So my first ratio that's given is that he runs 3 yards in 1 second. So I'm going to write down 3 yards over 1 second, and I want to encourage you not to use abbreviations but to write the whole word out, because sometimes if we're talking about minutes or miles, it's easy to get those confused because they both start with MI. So I'm going to be very thorough in my work and make sure I'm writing everything down. So 3 yards. Now yards I can do YDS because there's not going to be anything close to that. 1 second. All right. Step number 2 asks, what needs to be converted? So I'm going to go back to my problem. He's going from yards to second. It wants to know how many miles per hour. So I'm converting seconds to hours, and I'm also converting yards to miles. So I have a couple different conversions I need to do. Refer to your conversion worksheet that Mrs. Hippenstall gave you. It should be in your math notebook. I know that my conversion is, there's for every 1 mile, there are 1,760 yards. That's my conversion from yards to miles. I also have to convert from seconds to hours. Now remember, that's a couple different conversions. So let's start with seconds. 60 seconds in 1 minute. 60 seconds in 1 minute. But I'm not to the hours yet, so I have to go from minutes to hours. So how many minutes are there in 1 hour? 60. So my other one would be 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay? The next step says, write the problem out. So I'm multiplying all of these ratios together to make the conversion. So I have my original ratio times the 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. The thing to remember is that like terms are diagonal from each other on this problem. If they're not diagonal, it's not going to work out. So yards and yards. Yards are up top, so yards are down below. "60 seconds in 1 minute. Seconds are here, so I'm going to make them diagonal. And I have 60 minutes in an hour. Let's make our minutes diagonal again. Now, you're obviously going to have a little more room on your paper than I have on the board, so I'm going to erase the notes that I took so I have some room to work. The next step says to cancel. So I'm going to cancel out any like terms that I have diagonal from each other. So I've got yards and yards. I've got seconds and seconds. I've got minutes and minutes. So I'm left with miles and hours. And I can check if I've done that the right way by going back up to the problem and look at what they're asking me for. They're asking me for miles per hour. So I've canceled the right way. The next step is to multiply everything out. And so I just apply the rules of fractions. I multiply all the numerators and then I multiply all the denominators. You can use your calculator for that, but the answer for that is actually going to be 10,800 over 1,760. The last step, can't even see that answer there. Look, I'm barely in. The last step of that is to divide because you want to simplify your answer. All right, so basically you're going to divide 10,800 by your 1,760. That would be your final answer. That's how you do conversions. Make sure you're following the notes on Canvas. It will help you. And the more you follow those notes, the easier it'll get. Have a good night. Bye.